Welcome to the big show.
He could go all the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 7 of the Rundown, presented by the PFA. With you as always, Chris Cousins and myself as your host. This week we have some stuff to chat about, right, Chris?
Man, exactly right, man. We've had some football played this past weekend, man. I was there. I was excited to be in the building, man. It was a great atmosphere. None other I've been a part of before. Definitely can't wait to have it happen again. But can't wait to talk about it. Got a lot to talk about. Four games. Games got played. So can't wait to talk about what happened in those games and possibly some highlights. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yes, sir. We are just over a month away from opening weekend of the 2024 season for the PFA, and it's starting to ramp up for sure. Teams will be starting their preseason schedule to get ready for that as well, and we draw closer to the kickoff for the PFA, as well as a lot of other leagues, as you know, of course, the MCFL as well as the BCFL, who will have some crossover games with us, working together to change the narrative in minor league football realm, so to speak.
All right, but definitely tonight's show is going to be a good one as always. Forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. Don't kill me. But we got from the Motor City Rams tonight, Bilal Hamadi. Is going to be coming through, one of the players. Going to talk to him about the upcoming season and what he's got going on. Also, we're going to have the president of the MCFL, Mr. Marcus Thompson, is going to be in the building with us this evening. He's going to join us to talk about some stuff and what he has going on as well this season, coming up for his league and the partnership with the PFA.
Also on the show, fresh off the preseason victory from past Sunday in the MFOC showcase, from the Northern Kentucky Wolfpack, Savage. That's what he goes by, so we're just going to call him Savage. He'll join us also back for another episode of Ask Andy. PFA Director of Officials Andy Hamilton joins us to chat about the MFOC showcase that took place this last Saturday. All that and more in the rundown. Will be right back right after this. All right, and we're back, and need to update that little break there. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, so I have all day. Wife's at work. I have all day, just me and the dogs at home. She's taking the car, so I can't go anywhere. I can't go shopping. So I'll be at home working on stuff for the season, getting caught up on all my other stuff. But without further ado, our first guest is a player from the Motor City Rams, and I think, Chris, you got his name pretty close because I could see him kind of laughing in the waiting room. But hopefully I don't slaughter it, and I apologize in advance. Please welcome from the Motor City Rams, Bilal Hamadi. Did we say that right, man? Were we even close?
Hey, you guys nailed that. I'll give you guys that. You guys
Thank
nailed
you.
it.
Thank you.
All right. Gentlemen, I appreciate it. First and foremost, I'd like to appreciate you guys for having me. You know, we're coming up on a big year, I think, in semi-pro as a whole. A lot of things are changing. A lot more out-of-state games, which personally, especially from the people in Michigan, we love that. I can say from a Michigan standpoint in the semi-pro community, we love nothing more than those out-of-state challenges. A lot of the guys, they like to fight to play down in Florida most of the time to play those out-of-state teams. And now we're getting a little bit more of that action during the summer. So without saying that, It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be a part of this league, and we can't wait for this coming season, all of us.
Awesome, Bilal. Thank you. Thank you for so much for taking some time out with this chat with us. And I know you're at work, so it's much appreciated. Tell us a little bit about yourself and just about your football history and how you got to this point of playing minor league football with the Motor City Rams.
Man, I'll tell you, playing football for as long as I have, 12, going on year 12 now, hasn't been easy. A lot of hardship, a lot of hard work, a lot of determination. I wasn't like a lot of other people coming out of high school. I'm a kicker. I'm a punter. I love doing what I was doing. Why am I stopping? Yeah, I love doing what I always.
It's okay.
I always loved doing it. I was a soccer player growing up. You know, I liked football a lot more, and kicking just seemed more in my settings, and that's exactly what I did. You know, starting in semi-pro, it was a lot more different 3 years ago. This is going to be year four for me now. And when I first started back in 2021, it's a complete different aspect that it is now. More games were regional around the South Midwest area of Michigan. Now it's kind of like we're traveling everywhere, and it's fun, you know. 3 years, 3 trips to Florida, 3 national championships right now. I'm hoping me and the Rams can go for 4.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we definitely wanted to have you on the show because, you know, special teams, you know, is one of the things in semi-pro that definitely goes under the radar. A lot of teams don't have kickers, punters, you know, of that nature. And so when it comes to you specifically and being with the Rams, how do you see that growing and helping? Do you help try to bring other guys, you know, that you know who kicked or punted, you know what I'm saying, back along those words into the fold to try to get more guys out there, teams, you know, with some competition?
Well, I could definitely say this. I feel like in my time since I started semi-pro, I feel like special teams has changed a lot. I think after my 2021 season, I made a lot of coaches think like, yo, we need special teams. We need kickers. We need them bad. Because when I first started with the Michigan Gators, you know, a lot of teams lost to us because they didn't have that guy. Like being a kicker in modern day is so like very important. I was always told in high school, like it's 1/3 of the game. And that's the truth behind it. It is 1/3 of the game. And for me personally, like I'm a coach right now. I coach for Detroit Catholic Central. I've been soaking in the whole special teams aspect my whole life like a sponge. And I believe if you have the right demeanors and you have the right game plan, every game is different. You never know what return guys have. You never know like who the opposing side, like blockers, returners. You don't know any of that. So it's very important, especially in semi-pro, to game plan for all of that. Because I can give you guys a little bit of a quick rundown. Rams, we played in Florida this past year. Every kickoff I did, they were taking it back to the 50-yard line. I look at my team captain, Newsome, and I said, listen, 1, 2, 3, bounce it on the ground. They couldn't even return it past 20 the rest of the game.
Right.
This is all just like very important. It's all about smart mind, knowing the game, knowing the positional group you're coaching and you're working with. So yeah, very important.
Almost like a chess match, you know. So let me ask you this: being a soccer player, you said you played soccer for a long time. Coming from soccer into football, what are the differences between kicking a soccer ball and obviously the balls are different shape, but how do you have to adapt to be a football kicker versus the soccer kicker?
Well, being a soccer kicker, honestly, it's like kicking a soccer ball is like it's completely different. Like when you're kicking a football, it's like a golf swing. It's almost like you're swinging a golf club. But when you're kicking a soccer ball, you need more agility, more balance, and that's why I feel like I forget who the kicker is for the Dallas Cowboys right now. He just came off like one of the best seasons. I forget his name. He was a soccer player, transitioned to a kicker, all-star. It's simple because you got to be balanced. You got to have good agility. You just got to have all these like athletic traits to be a soccer player. And converting from that into a football kicker, all it really is like just consistency, practicing, working on specific techniques to kind of like adjust from one thing to another, because they're still 2 completely different things, not far off, but they are completely different in their own ways.
Well, man, I definitely can tell you from experience, I've won championships by field goals. I definitely love to always have a kicker in my back pocket when it does come to semi-pro. When it comes to coming to the season, man, you're on one of the premier teams that are looking to make a run, like you said, 3 national championships, 3 trips to Florida. Um, you're in a league now where there's some big dogs, and we're going to play these big dogs during this regular season. So there's going to be some situational chances where you're going to have to, rubber meets the road. You're going to have to step up. How do you see the season going for you guys, and how do you feel when those moments come for you? How do you mentally lock in?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, first I'm going to start off with the team. All I'm going to say about the team is those guys are locked in. They're working. They're holding each other accountable, and they're ready to ball. Best believe me on that. And from my aspect, it's like I've been doing this for so long. I've done it all. I've helped the Ravens win a national championship. I've done my part helping the Gators win a national championship. Even the Rams. The Rams, even when we played, we still demolished that team from Kentucky. But I still did my part my own way. They could have did their thing, but either way, I'm experienced. I don't have the best leg in the world. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best kicker in the league, because there's always somebody better than you, no matter how hard you're working. That's a sad truth. But here's what I am. I'm a winner. I know how to win. It's all I've been doing in this league. And these guys want to win. I want to win. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep winning. We're excited. We're going to keep rolling.
Awesome. And to answer your question about that Dallas kicker, Brandon Aubrey from Australia. Yeah. So thank you, Trenton, in the chat for giving us that answer. So let me ask you this question: What's your longest field goal
in game?
Yeah,
47.
Damn. You got a rocket foot there, and see,
now let me give some aspect. Let me give some because seriously, because people watching the pilot and somebody pros, because they'll look at 47 and be like, well, people in the league are kicking 50. Okay, to have somebody to be able to kick a 47-yard kick in semi-pro is really like having a bar goat. Okay, because.
Hey, gentlemen, believe it or not, it's kind of normal nowadays. Like, I'm not going to lie, kickers that have strong legs like that now in semi-pro, especially in Michigan. I can name 3 kickers.
Just to have a kicker, period. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because nowadays, it's becoming the norm to have a kicker. Special teams just starting to pick up more in semi-pro. But I know there are tough defenses. And if you can have a kicker who can able to consistently hit a 47-yard kick, you're going to end up winning games. And if you're in tough situations, you're going to win a lot of close games. So, in retrospect to the league, yeah, you got guys who kicking 50. That's great. That's good for them, and I love that for them. But in semi-pro, all I need is 47 yards.
I've only been involved with teams in Indiana, and the only time I've seen any kicker kick a decent field goal was last year for the Indy Bison. But in the other teams I worked for, the kicker was Shankopotamus, man, all day. I couldn't make a field goal. There ain't no damn way I'd probably fall on my ass. Like I would break my ankle or break my leg or something stupid probably.
I'm old school. I've seen a lot of. I played back in the day, so I've seen a lot of things. You know what I mean? That's the perspective that I come from. I've seen people your safety. Go lines up and he takes kick. You know what I mean? Like. I've seen it all. So to see the development that it is as far as the position that a guy is actually a kicker, he's actually trying to perfect the craft. He's actually taking the nuances of the game, like you said, the science of it. That is what is changing, and that is what I'm beginning to love more about semi-pro, because we're starting to take certain positions a little bit more seriously than we used to. And it was starting to become more important, as they should. And so that's why we wanted to have you on the show, man, as one of those people stepping into that lane for us this season. I can't wait to see you in action so we can get you. Hopefully you don't have too many clutch moments, but hopefully you do so we can get them on the show for highlights.
That's right. I'll tell you guys what. If it ain't clutch moments on field goals, just watch out for my punts, because that is my favorite right now.
Oh, is that your your niche?
I don't even like punting to the other team and like that aspect. I don't like returns. I like pinning them in the back corner of the end zone. Stuff like that's my favorite thing to do right now. Trust
Making
me,
it bounce
kicker
out at like
can't
3
make
yard
field
line.
goal. You said what?
Making it bounce out of the 3 yard line or whatever, or, out
It's
the
my favorite
sideline.
thing. It's my favorite thing to do. That is just as deadly from a special team perspective as a kicker with a strong leg for a field goal.
That is.
Uh,
I'll make sure to
Bilal,
remember that when we're doing top 10 plays.
we enjoyed having you on the show, man. And anytime you want to come back on, just hit us up and we'll get you back on during the season. And we'll definitely be tracking those field goal stats every week from you guys. So thanks again for jumping on and chatting with us. We appreciate it. And we'll catch you again soon. Gentlemen,
appreciate it. Hope to hear from you guys soon. You guys have a great rest of your night.
You too.
All right, man. Okay.
That was
Hey, man.
I'm excited to see him play during the rest of the year and see how far he can kick, make some records for the PFA. But again, that was Bilal Hamadi of the Motor City Rams. Thanks again for joining us on the chat upcoming season, and we'll be right back with more of the rundown. Okay. Got another update on that video, man. Tornadoes are no longer with us. Rest in peace, tornadoes. But, well, Chris, let's talk a little bit about this event that happened past weekend. We're going to talk more we're going to get more into it with Andy later. And then we got to bring Marcus Thompson on here in a few minutes. So I was not able to make it, unfortunately, because I live in Florida now. Not unfortunately. I love it here. It's nice and warm, not cold. I seen you guys seeing the air puffing out of your mouth. It was cold in Ohio. Sorry about you. I mean, I would have been there if I could have got there, but I didn't freeze. That's even better.
It was a beautiful day.
You were at the really Bowl Bucks game. What did you take away from that game as well as just the event overall?
First and foremost, shout out to the PFA and the MFOC for putting together a world groundbreaking event. It was the first time in semi-pro history that two semi-pro teams played in a Big Five conference stadium,
right?
Cincinnati Bearcats. And just the event as a whole, I want to give context to it. It was a referee clinic. So I know a lot of people are like, where are the fans and things like that? It was a clinic for referees to get certified to become referees at different levels of college football.
Right.
So it really wasn't more so about a fan base situation. Yes, it is a game. That's why it's played in the preseason. But I just want to give a little context. People are like, "Oh man, nobody's there." Okay, I mean, people will come, but this was the first time it was established and things of that nature. But as far as the event, I thought the referees were cool. I went on the field and spoke to some of those guys out there. They were doing a wonderful job. Definitely learned a lot from referees during the game. That was my first time actually doing commentary. Trying to give our listeners and subscribers some type of play-by-play of the game while I was there watching. But overall, both teams, again, let me say this, because I got a lot of backlash on the live about this. It is a preseason game. I said this on the live as well. When you play in semi-pro, one of the things that you have to always deal with is called travel. And can you travel well? Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But you still go out there and you play the game with
Right.
what you have. And you have it. Semi-pros has always been built on no excuses. I will always say that, no matter what. So with that being said, yes, the Pit Bulls did come a little light-handed. They were missing a lot of key guys. I know this for a fact. A lot of key guys went out there. I think they only had about 23 players. For what it's worth, them boys went out there and fought. It could have been a lot worse. I promise you. But on the flip side, when it comes to the Cincinnati Bucks, they are. I mean, I saw a guy throw 6 touchdown passes. Okay, 6 touchdown passes. Now, in saying that, I also saw receivers drop hella balls. Okay, on I mean, this crazy life. So it's a preseason game. When I say that to say this, it's a preseason game. There are going to be things that need to be worked on. And the same team you see in preseason and semi-pro is never the same team you see again come the end of the season. I guarantee you the Pitbull team that you saw this past weekend is not going to be the same Pitbull team you see again. And I guarantee, and that's on Coach Jimmy Melton. I know him personally. Even Coach Ryder from the Buccaneers. I know the same team. I know he's not happy with the performance, even though they put up 48 points. I know he knows they left points on the board. You know what I mean? There could have been better plays, but this is what they had turnovers in the game. They had 4 and outs as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's a preseason game. It's the first game of the season. The thing that I took away from it the most was the competitive energy. It was a lot of hitting going out there, man. A lot of hit, man. Boys was out there throwing that plastic around, and I liked it. I was there for it on both sides of the ball. Defense, there was definitely some hitting. Running backs was running people over. I like where both teams are headed. I say it like that. And again, I said this in the live. One team is 2A, one team is 3A. So for both teams to play against each other, this was a good time to see what both teams needed to work on, see what they had going into their season of play against other 2A teams, against other 3A teams.
Right.
So,
well, overall, it sounds like it was a good experience, a good opportunity for the teams of the PFA and the teams that, that helped out, from the different leagues and stuff like that. So, I'm excited to see how this turns out and if this is going to become a partnership, and we'll talk more about that with Andy later. But first up next is our next guest has been around semi-pro football for a while. In the most recent years, he was with part of the BGFL, and now he is the president of the MCFL, the Mid-Central Football League, who will be having a crossover games with the PFA this year in a joint effort just to make the competition better and form a relationship to change the way people look at semi-pro football. Please welcome Mr. Marcus Thompson to the show. What's up, Marcus?
What's going on, bro?
How you been?
How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Thanks for joining us on the rundown, man. Great to have you on to chat about the upcoming season. But first and foremost, how has the move been? I know you moved recently, right?
I'm still moving. I'm in my other house now.
Oh.
I won't start moving all this stuff until probably this weekend and next week.
Oh man, I moved too, so I feel you. Moving across the to Florida was a great move, but the moving situation was a whole another hassle. So
yeah, I'm moving to the next town over, but it's like I think you've seen the pictures. I'm moving like out to the country now. So.
Oh, okay.
Well, Mark, it's great to have you on the show. You've definitely been around for a long time. You've seen teams come and go, for sure. It seems like every year, challenges always arise. So, what has been the biggest challenge you've seen so far this offseason as a commissioner of the league?
So far, it's just been a lot of back and forth. Same thing like every year. Everything starts off smooth, and then stuff starts going south. Teams start falling off. teams surprisingly still jumping around leagues, trying to join leagues, trying to all type of stuff right now, man. So schedule wise, we had everything down pat, and then I think we lost 3 teams in a week.
Yeah,
I think the PFA lost a team, and I lost maybe 2, and then it caused some more switching around, and then some teams got. I'm gonna tell you right now, teams in my league was like, hey, that's enough with the switching games and switching this and switching that. Like, just leave everything alone, and then we'll figure it out as we go along. So, I mean, that's why I'm in right now. Like, some people frustrated with it that they came to that point. But, I run a league where I don't make them do anything. I give them opinion, and their opinion was just keep everything the way it was for right now. And because the schedule changes and the reaching out to people to keep changing flyers and blah 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 blah. Yeah. That's the part. That's the problem. That's the most challenging right now.
Right. And like people want something solidified, and we've all 3 of us have been around where teams for preseason stuff they drop and stuff like that. But how important is it to build that relationship that you're building with the PFA and doing those crossover games?
I mean, it's been important. I'm pretty sure I'm not the first person to reach out to other leagues to try to do this. I'm pretty sure people have been trying to do it forever. It was just this point in time that people finally started being receptive to it. So people started to finally be on board with it. Probably the first year, everybody decided to put their egos to the side, and everybody decided like, hey, this is probably the best thing for semi-pro. Teams, leagues just coming together. And I appreciate like some leagues don't want to see the double opponents,
right?
So not do the double opponents for us to reach out to other leagues. So it's been cool. Like I said, we've been working with the BCFL, we've been working with the PFA. I know some of those guys are working with the Tri-Point. So at least in the Midwest, we're breaking barriers on working with each other when it comes to different leagues.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's never happened before, and with the leagues that have been around, and it's good to see. So how's your team doing? Going to look this year? The Grizzlies, right?
Yeah, my team,
Lake County Warriors, the Grizzlies.
Yeah, we had to move out of Indiana for a couple of different reasons. We in Illinois now. Illinois is just it's where I'm from. It's just a bigger market. We can get a lot more fans, a lot more sponsorship. That was a business decision versus anything. But right now we're looking all right. We still, like everybody else, like you guys were saying earlier, like, what we look like in preseason, we're not going to look like when the season starts, playoffs start and stuff like that. So we still a new team, but they putting us under the stigma that I've been around for a while. And I got some guys that follow me that we're not a new team, but this is trust and believe that it's a brand new team.
Now, when it comes to the teams that you have in your league, like we were saying, we got a lot of teams that folded over time, and there's always been that stigmatism that guys don't want to work together in semi-pro. You know what I mean? What do you think guys like yourself, Duncan, the BCFL, what do you think? And this is an honest question because I've been playing for a long time. Do you think there might be a possibility at some point in time we might be able to get one United League for the Midwest?
I mean, it might get to that point, but I still think we probably still a little few and far between when it comes to something like that. But somebody had made a point to me some months ago. They was like, well, before it was the NFL, it was the AFC, the NFC.
Right.
So, one day, we can keep working together and see what happens. Maybe one day we have one big league. The last time I seen one big league, like I said, I've been around for a minute, was the GMFL. The GMFL at one point had like 30 plus teams.
Right.
So they probably had, everybody from Illinois to they had some Wisconsin teams. I know they had St. Louis. They had some Indiana guys. They had, an Arkansas team at one point. They had guys. We had teams from everywhere. It's like 30 plus teams. So if we can get to that one day, that'd be great. But, until then, we just keep working together, take some baby steps and see what we can do in the near future.
I think that's the key. This is the big, like you said, this is the biggest, type of, leagues working together. This is the first time that I've seen it, and I've only been around for a couple of years, but so it's definitely something to look forward to. And like you said, Marcus, baby steps, one season at a time, and we'll see if we can get through this season first, and then see what next season brings us, and go from there.
Yeah, we already talked about it. We touched bases on like a league versus league all-star game, just stuff like that to keep it going, keep it interesting and stuff. So we just still trying to figure out ways to make it better, still trying to figure out ways to keep the competition going and keep the relationship as tight as we can.
For sure.
I even thought about, even if he wasn't in PAG, like, that's not a bad idea. 7-on-7, all-star situation, legal, it's always ways that we can still try to keep it competitive with one another and go against better other competition in the area. And that's really what it's all about, getting eyes on guys and going up against better competition because it's out there, especially in our region, the Midwest. There's a lot of talent. And I'm excited for the games that the PFA has with you guys. I know you guys have some good teams over there, some solid organizations that stayed, are still up and running. You know what I mean? So I can't wait to see what 2024 holds for you, Marcus. But I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you're still on the move and everything. So before we let you go, how can you guys be reached on social media? Any of the teams, like the roster, still open for people to join the teams in your league at this point in time?
Yeah, all team rosters are still open. All team rosters are still open. I think we keep our rosters open to like week 4, around week 4 or week 5. Anybody can reach out to us as the Mid Central Football League on Facebook. We get a lot of inboxes from guys trying to match up with teams. So we tell them we ask just what area they're in, and we'll try to match them up with the teams that's closest to them. Sometimes they send messages under our post, and I'll let them know, like, hey, you might want to reach out to this team or that team. We got a lot of teams. Like I said, we got a lot of teams in the area, mostly Illinois, Indiana. We got one in Michigan. So we're a little spread out. So if anybody want to get in contact with us, Mid Central Football League, send us a message, shoot us a post or something like that. Most of the time, I'll be the one responding. But just let us know.
Awesome, Marcus. Thank you so much for joining. It's always good to talk to you and catch up, man. I appreciate your time, and good luck with the move this weekend, and enjoy your holiday, man.
All right, fellas. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yep, we'll catch up with you again in the middle of the season or something.
Yep, looking forward to it, bro.
All right, have a good night. Awesome.
Hey, man, he's doing good things over there. I know. Commissioner Dutton wouldn't partner with him if he wasn't doing good things over there with the MCFL. So I can't wait for those crossover games against those teams. I can't wait to see what his team does.
Right. Yeah. Marcus has always had a good team. I mean, the Lake County Warriors were a tough team. The years that I was involved with the Fort Wayne team that played them, that was a big rivalry and a big game that was on their schedule every year. So Marcus always brings a good team and very good, well-coached team as that. So, again, that was Marcus Thompson, the president of the MCFL, and he's been working around the clock along with Duncan, the PFA commissioner, in an effort to make the 24 season one for the record books. And looking forward to seeing what the season brings, all the different teams involved.
Man, for sure. I got Coach Rondé in the comments. Appreciate you tapping in, Coach. Sin City Bus Coach, they played the game this past weekend up in Cincinnati. So with that being said, we also would like to recognize the Michigan Bills of the PFA. One of the things that we're trying to do here at the PFA is show that there's more than just football. It's more to just playing the game that we love. We also want to give back to the communities and affect the things around us. And so we're starting a segment here on the show for the PFA Cares. And we're going to be highlighting teams that do things in their community. And this week we're just going to be highlighting the Michigan Bills. They went out to the community and had an event. I want to say it was this past weekend or weekend before. And I think we have some footage that we're going to roll during the break. But shout out to them and the organization for caring about the community that they live in and trying to affect it around them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't have a chance to do what I wanted to, but we're going to go ahead and play this anyways. And let's take a look. Oh, I guess I should hit play.
Michael Franks. We got the Michigan Beer with owner Michael Anderson. You got the owner right here. Hey, Michael Franks. You got them skits going.
Why you keep calling you Michael Franks, bro?
The people of the community. Michael Franks, say hey to the people. Say hey, it's Michael Franks. We got the Michigan Beer.
Man, I think that
I apologize. I didn't get to do what I wanted to with that. I was busy at work this week, so I didn't have a time to get it all set up. But shout out to the Michigan Bills and the owner, Michael Anderson. I was trying to get him on the show tonight, but I know he has practice tonight, so it was a little hard for him to get on. But we'll definitely catch him again soon. But again, if you're a PFA team, I know the Flag City Phantoms do stuff for their community. I know there's other teams that do stuff for their community. So please send that stuff to us, and we'll make sure we shout you guys out and make sure you get some very deserved credit for doing some good services for your community, no matter what it is. We appreciate you guys helping out in the community and giving back, to the people that support you guys. So with that being said, we'll be right back after this. And we are back. Now, what everyone has been waiting for, I'm sure, probably on the recap of this weekend's games. You can see at the bottom of the screen there. I put up the scores so everybody can see the scores. But let's talk about some games, man, real quick before we bring a Savage on from the Wolfpack. First game we're going to talk about is the Southern Indiana Bobcats versus Kentucky Insanity. I mean, the Bobcats came out and gave the Insanity a big goose egg, 35-0. Bobcats are doing something special this year. They're a team to watch. They're from I believe they're the MCFL, correct? Or are they the BCFL? I can't remember. But definitely Charles Ellis and he, the rest of the coaching staff up there doing a great job. They're making some moves. They're getting a lot of good players. Looking forward to seeing what they do for the season. But 35-0, That's a pretty good win, man.
That's a pretty good way to start off the season. Again, like I said, it's a preseason game, first game of the season. But anytime you can put up 30 points in the game in semi-pro, it's always a good feeling. It's always a good day. Shout outs to them for being able to put it together offensively. Um, but again, didn't look too well on the other side. Dropping the earpiece. Well, on the other side, definitely had a lot of miscues. Um, on the other side of the ball. Definitely had some missed opportunities to put points on the board on the other side of the ball. So definitely room for growth in that game. But again, preseason, we don't want to put too much into it with you guys. But good game by them for the 35 over. Moving on to the Gladiator game, we had the Columbus Gladiators against the Michigan Hurricanes. Now, I'll be honest with you, this was a definite tight game. As you can tell by the score, both teams looked very preseasonish. If that's it, if you play, a lot of miscues, a lot of lot of drop passes, missed blocks, maybe missed assignments, and because of that, the defenses are always going to stand out in those games, and they're always going to be close. Michigan was able to, the Hurricanes were able to take advantage of more opportunities than the Gladiators did, and eventually came out on top with the win.
The next game was the battle of the two PFA teams. And I had to be honest, I was a little shocked. Nothing against the Wolfpack, but I was rooting for the Phantoms. I can't be biased to any teams, but the Phantoms are my guys. So the Wolfpack came out and said otherwise, and I was watching some of that game that was streamed on the Facebook, and the Phantoms definitely look preseasonish. I can't even say that, but definitely they got to go back to the drawing board and work. And we'll check on that next show. Mark Garcia, the head coach, will probably be joining us, and so we'll have to. We don't want to grill him too much because he might challenge us to a boxing match and beat us up. So I'll have you ask the questions. That way he challenges you, Chris.
I watched the film. Shout out to ISO Entertainment for getting that footage. They streamed the game live for us this past weekend. The Phantoms and the Wolfpack. I watched it today actually. I watched it from start to finish. They look good in the first half. Not gonna lie, Phantoms are definitely moving the ball. They look poised. I kind of don't. It's weird to say. I don't know what happened. It just seemed like they started having a lot of miscues. Wolfpack started definitely blocking up front from the big boys. Started to take place from the Wolfpack. So kudos to them, the big boys up front. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was bad. You know what I mean? But it definitely a statement from the Wolfpack. Did not expect that to them to come out and win by that margin of the 28-6. But I definitely saw some bright spots with the Phantoms. But I will say this: the Phantoms came in this year high on the horse. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing. So hopefully, Coach Garcia can take this and get him back on the track that he wants to be on. But Wolfpack definitely stood out. Definitely some hitting going on in that game too. I'll tell you that much. I got some tips from that.
Definitely. I think the Phantoms will be okay. I think they'll come back strong. They I kind of want to see a rematch during the regular season between them and the Wolfpack, but it doesn't look like they play the Wolfpack during the regular season. So maybe we'll get I lost Chris. Where'd he go? Anyways, yeah, I'm looking forward to a rematch, maybe in the playoffs. There he is. Like I said, I'm looking forward to maybe a rematch in the playoffs, down the road this year for the Phantoms and the Wolfpack. We could see a championship game between those two. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. And yeah. So we'll just jump right into our next guest since we're talking about the Wolfpack.
Yeah, I want to ask him his thoughts about it. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, from the Northern Kentucky Wolfpack, winners of last week's game at the MFOC clinic against the Phantoms, we have Mr. Savage.
Marion, go.
Uh-oh,
Get out of his way.
We caught him in mid
Cameron, when
coaching.
he get down there, you bringing it back. Fast, Kamarion. Take that 10 off of
That
it.
was going to be my first question.
He's busy
What's going
coaching.
on, folks? We can grab his attention. What's going on, Coach Savage?
Y'all too, come here.
He's
Don,
at track
come here.
practice right now, so he's.
Oh yeah, what's
there
up? What's up? What's up?
There he is.
I'm back.
He's yelling at the kids.
I'm focused. What's up?
Not much. Thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, how y'all doing today?
Yeah, man, we just want to check in with you, talk about the game, man. What were your thoughts about how you guys played against the Phantoms, and what did you guys see from you guys as a team going into that first game of the season?
I can say that we weren't surprised. We knew exactly what we were capable of. So when we went into the game with the expectation of we gotta dominate. Okay. We gotta dominate. So going into it, we kind of had a chip on our shoulder. So that's kind of how we were, I guess, moving. Yeah, that just was our mentality going into the game. We knew they wouldn't want it as bad as we did. So that's kind of how it is.
Well, congrats on the win, man. Like I mentioned before you came on, I'm looking forward to seeing a rematch between you guys and the Phantoms. I think that'd be a playoff, playoff game or something that's going to be cool to watch.
Yeah.
So, like we talked before, stats don't lie when you have the stats. So, what was the keys to your guys' win besides being poised and being ready to play? What were the keys that you guys had to win, and what do you do? What do you need to do as a team to keep this rolling when the season starts in just over a month?
It's our keys is staying disciplined and staying together as one. That's all that we want to ever do. We understand not just the team, but the organization understands that semi-pro, we want to move it in a different direction. So we have to have that discipline. If we want to be taken serious as players, as teams, we gotta be that team that sets the tone. So I feel like that ultimately is what's going to set us aside. What's going to set us aside, just period.
Now I'll ask you if you were a player.
Hey, no, send them off.
Tell
them they're coming to me. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
You okay? Being a part of last week's MFOC, clinic, how did you guys like being having that interaction with the referees and being able to have certain things spoken with them and that nature? How do you think that went?
I don't know if he can hear us.
So can
you hear us still?
You can't hear us right now.
No, not sure what's going on.
Back down.
We can hear you, but we can't hear us. Let's see if I can.
Want to bring you back in? Want to bring you back in there, boss?
I'm trying to get a hold of him. I don't know if he can read my message, but I'll have to kick him off and then see if he can.
Hey, but that's the real life of a semi-pro guy. Always either working, we usually coaching. We usually got 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7 different hats we trying to wear at the same time. So, man, shout out to him for even giving back to his community by being out there for those kids. and being a coach. Kudos to him because I know the hardships of taking that position on and filling that role as a coach myself. So kudos to him for being out there with those kids and giving them an outlet. And,
We'll give him a few
keeping
minutes
them
to see if he can
off the street.
see if he can read my message in Messenger real quick. I don't know if he will be able to, but hopefully he gets back on because we're just in the middle of our interview with him and starting to get some good questions going.
Get to the juicy part. Let's get to the juicy part. But if you want, we can go ahead and talk to see if Andy's available. We can go ahead and hit him up.
Yeah, I see him in the waiting room, all stretching, chilling in his house before he falls asleep. Because we know old guys fall asleep early, so he's shaking his head. Yeah, because he heard me. Yeah. So without further ado, we are going to have another episode of Ask Andy, and I've been waiting to play this intro for him when he was on the show for like a month. So
get back, Jennifer. You're going to be.
Can I have this sloth? Finger time. I wonder if my head could fit inside that bucket. Let's go find out.
You have adorable eyes, and I don't believe what I see.
Sorry, what's that?
You have a normal hat and big boots, I said.
No, man, it's too much. I can't take it. It's scary.
Gotta blow that whistle. Have a nice day.
I love that last part. I can see Andy doing that, blowing the whistle and not stopping. That just cracks me up. Well, welcome, PFA Director of Officials, Mr. Andy Hamilton. Andy, thanks for joining us again to chat about this monumental event that took place this last weekend. You and the Assistant Director of Officials, Daniel Palmer. Was Daniel there? I think he wasn't there.
No, he wasn't there. He was there the first day when they were doing, because it was a 2-part thing. They had the classroom part for the officials on Saturday, and then the on-field part for specific officials on Sunday. But he wasn't there for that part. He was there Saturday though. Yep.
Okay. So I mean, overall, Chris was there, and you obviously were there, involved, hands-on. So, what were your thoughts and what did you take out of it? How the teams do, in your opinion?
I think it went great. I was at the Nippert Stadium location. The crew that I was on, we were officiating the fourth quarter. So I had the pleasure of, sitting back and watching both teams and just seeing how everybody interacts. I think it went great. I spoke to the people that were in charge of running the clinic, and they had nothing but positive things to say. I had some Big Ten officials that I know come up and talk to me, some SEC officials, some ACC officials, and they were all blown away. They were asking us, how are the players so disciplined and vice versa, just because they're not used to that. Right. I heard Chris talk about it earlier, about the culture change and stuff like that. And they noticed that, they thought that was amazing. And one of the Big Ten officials, and I think this was just huge props to both teams, he flat out told me that he never in a million years would have imagined that it would have been that way. Wow. Because players were out there just strapping up, playing ball. They didn't get mouthy. I mean, they got mouthy, normal, what you're going to do in football, but it wasn't anything bad. It was a competitive thing. And the other thing that I noticed was when I stopped to kind of look around the stadium, there were multiple people there with like their Bearcat stuff on, and they were college students. There were multiple people there that were just there watching the game.
That's cool.
I thought that was awesome. So it was a really, really good event. It was monumental. I was talking to our commissioner, Duncan, and he told me that that's the first time that a semi-pro organization has played on that level. Mm-hmm. So I think it went great, man. We couldn't have asked for anything better.
That's awesome, man. Congrats to not only the PFA front office and you and Daniel being a big part of the setting all this up, but kudos to all the teams for keeping their cool and not being the typical semi-pro game and all the stuff that happens at your typical semi-pro game, fighting and all that stuff. So and I'm sure tempers got heated but they did whatever happened. They had a good control of themselves and they just played the game. So,
we really didn't see anybody get out of line or anything. And there was some college coaches that were there, and they even commented to myself and some other officials about how they were impressed with it. You know, they really didn't know what to expect, but they were blown away by it. And a couple of them even said that there were some players out there that had like some legit talent, and they were blown away by that. So it was great, man. It went very, very, very well.
Now, while I got you on here, Andy, there were some things I had to see at the game, and I've got to ask you. One of the things that came up in that game was the encroachment. Okay, we had a lot of encroachment. What is our official ruling in the PFA when it comes to that in itself?
So we go by college rules, and that's not modified. So in college, the defense, they can cross into the neutral zone, and as long as they get back before the snap, there's no foul. If they're in the neutral zone at the snap, it's a flag, but it's a live ball. So you just let it play out. Now, if you get the defender, if he crosses into that neutral zone and then he causes the offensive player to jump, now it's not going to be a false start on the offense. It's going to be on the defense because he caused that player to jump. Now, you'll get some tackles that, like the far left tackle, he is not included in that if the defensive tackle all the way down on the right jumps in. That would then be a false start on the offensive player. So there's like a person. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? That way he can't try to get an advantage, and then when we call it, he's like, oh no. So he has to be within that certain frame, so to speak. But long story short, yeah, that's what it is. Whereas high school, as soon as they cross that neutral zone, it's popped and you kill it. But college, no, let it play out. Good question.
Yeah, I just noticed that we had it came up a couple of times in the game, and it was very well taken care of. Like I said, by the referees. Again, it was a training thing, so they went, they talked about it. You know what I'm saying? Came out, changed the decision that was called. Took the flag away, but it was something that I saw come up a lot, and so I wanted to make sure guys understand that aspect of the rule going into the season, as far as how we in the PFA perceive encroachment.
Yep. Now, another thing, and that I think teams that are listening to this do need to get in the habit of, because this is one thing that a bunch of the officials did notice, at least at Nippert. Not a knock against either team. I think they did great, but they have to start paying attention to that play clock, because there was quite a bit of times that it was way past zero and the officials were just letting it go. We were trying to cut them a break, but I'm telling you, during the regular season, that's not going to fly. Yep.
So
you have to be cognizant of that.
Teams, if you're listening, don't think you're going to get away with the delay of game when the season starts, because the refs are trying to help you out there. So make sure you get that ball snap before the play clock goes to zero.
Yep.
So
yeah, I definitely noticed that too, Andy, a couple of times. I was like, because I'm looking at the clock from the play clock, because I know you guys were looking at it too, and I'm like, I know the play clock just went there. They're not going to throw the flag, and they was just still. I'm like, oh, well, again.
Yeah. So what they got to realize, man, when they run a play, as soon as that play's over, that official, as soon as he raises his hand up in the air to mark that the ball's dead, that 40-second clock is running. So they're going to have to hurry up. And the thing that we noticed, there was quite a few times where players are like, come on. And then I see the linemen, and stuff kind of walking back, but it's like, come on, man, you got to move. You got to get used to that.
Yeah.
And I know that as the season goes along, that stuff's going to pick up. And it wasn't like it was happening all the time. It was just sporadic. But again, I think that's just to where they're used to the rules, and not to mention certain officials that we've had in the past that just don't call it, So that's another thing that we're trying to change, is just making sure that everybody's on the same page and they get the same officials across the board.
Right. So speaking of officials, you got your system that you got. Are all the PFA or most of the PFA teams buying into that system that you have with the officials?
I'd say we're probably about half. And that's fine. Eventually, though, we are going to get to the point where that's just how it's going to be. We're just going to go to that. We're trying to make it to where we have, all college officials, some high school officials and stuff like that. But we understand that we got to ways that we got to go. But this was a huge step in that direction. So it's coming. And I definitely have noticed that more and more people are coming on board with that. We are getting some backlash from just a couple of teams, and I get it. It's change. You know what I mean? They're used to having certain people that they know officiate these games and stuff like that. But unfortunately, we can't have that, because that is called a conflict of interest. It's human nature, man. It's, if you see something, you're like, are they teeter-tottering a little bit on that? You're like, I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt because I know them, whether they're realizing it or not. And in no other level of play, if you have any type of relationship with somebody, are you permitted to officiate that game?
Yeah.
It's not. You can't. So we're hoping to get that changed within the near future, but it's definitely coming.
Awesome. So I don't know if are we allowed to talk about the announcement that they were going to post that we were going to post earlier? Are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah. No, I'm totally cool with that. Do you want to talk about it or
yeah.
Whatever.
Why don't you go ahead and say it and
So since everything went so good, I spoke to the directors and stuff from the clinic, and they have agreed that they want us back. They actually asked if we would partner with them to make sure that we provide teams for them going forward. And that's what we were shooting for. So it worked. And they said that the PFA is going to be the only organization that they conduct business with. So I think that's a huge gain. They were able to see the type of professionalism that we bring and the talent and stuff like that. They're trying to make it to where we can get some better stadiums, not just high school stadiums, because we want all teams to be able to play on those elite, fields. So that's something that, we are working with them on. We're working closely with them, but there's just no other organization around that can say that they have that. And I know after talking to Duncan and some others, the plan is going forward, whoever wins the championship game this year, they will be the one that gets the premier field next year at the clinic.
Okay.
Kind of like showcasing it, if that makes sense.
Right.
But like I said, we're hoping to get some more premier fields in the Cincinnati area. I can't really come out and say what those fields are, but I think common sense would tell you what I'm talking about outside of Nippert Stadium. So that's stuff that we're working on.
Awesome, man. Andy, it's always fun to have you on, and don't forget that body cam footage for me when you get a chance, so we can.
And I actually talked to the people that were recording at Nippert. A lot of people didn't know this was going on, but the national training program, it's called RefReps. They were actually there recording. They had all of the officials wearing cameras and drone footage and stuff like that. So they're going to use that footage to update the training for football officials across the country.
Awesome.
So our teams and players are going to be blasted, all over the country and stuff like that. And they said that they're wanting to continue working with us. And I'm actually finalizing a deal to where they come out with us. And that's another thing that the PFA will provide. They said that they're willing to make it to where the PFA is the one that provides that platform.
Awesome. Great strides for the PFA and all the teams involved. And like you said, there's no other league out there right now that is got this opportunity. And it's only because of the hard work, dedication of the PFA staff and the poise of the teams that we have in the league. I think that made this happen. So,
yep. And real quick, I would just want to say again, I've tried to thank everybody that was involved in it as much as I can, but I just wanted to say on this platform, we couldn't do it without the players and the professionalism from everybody. The players, exactly. The coaches, everybody was great. They went above and beyond, and I'm telling you, it was so great to see that type of level of football, and it's just an example of what we can make of this as long as everybody keeps doing that and they get out of that whole fighting mentality and stuff like that. This is the type of stuff that we can do. So it was a really good time.
Awesome, man. Looking forward to that future partnership with them and seeing what it brings, for minor league football. Maybe it's it's definitely a step in the right direction. And but as always, Andy, we appreciate you jumping on, and we'll catch up with you again here in a couple of weeks. And have a great night, and thanks for joining us.
You as well. Have a good one, guys. Keep up the good work.
That was Andy Hamilton, Director of Officials. What can I say? PFA has probably, hands down the best staff, front office staff there is, especially that I've ever been a part of. So, everybody works together as a team. You got Chris and I, and then you got Duncan, of course, the commissioner. You got all the way down to secretary, rules and regulations, Joe. And it's just a phenomenal group of people to work with. And I'm glad that I have an opportunity to be in part of this organization. So
I just don't think people, with that news that he just broke, I want people to understand, like, when Duncan and the PFA was presented this opportunity months ago, this was something that was a quick turnaround. Now that we know that we are going to be doing this thing annually, and we literally have a full year to plan, how much bigger do you think we're gonna make it?
Oh yeah.
How much bigger do you think we're gonna make it? Because I know Duncan. And I'm a part of this staff. How much bigger do you think that we're going to make it?
Right.
This can be an open. This can be turned into, like Andy said, something bigger if we are having access to more premier fields. It's during a great time in sports as it is. It's during March Madness. It's during the start of everything. The playoff. Like, it's during a great time in sports, where people want to be engaged, and we can have a smashing, epic event take place. Next year it's going to be a banger. I can only imagine now. I'll say it like this, and I'm gonna be polite. I'm gonna be polite when I say this, Brian. The teams that were a part of it, that backed out before.
Sorry about you.
Okay.
Hey,
come now.
Hey, I know stuff happens, but here's my opinion, and I'll try to be nice. I may not be nice, and it's our show. We could talk. We could say what we want, right? If you were invited and you couldn't go and you backed out for whatever reason, don't matter to me. No more invites. 0. On to the next team that wants the opportunity, and and if you were a league that didn't want to participate, then I guess you don't get to participate. Take your ball and go home.
He said he appreciates them backing out. And that's all. And that's all. I don't want to go any more further. The people know who they are, who are part of this, who got offered first. There were teams who got offered this opportunity first to be a part of this, and during the process, whatever unknown reasons, which I'm just not going to disclose, but they chose the latter, and they chose to back out because they didn't want to, as my man Deion Sanders says, believe. But those teams that came in blindly and trusted the process, guess who's going to be rewarded? Those same teams that trusted the process. We one thing I can say about Duncan and the way he moves and works as a commissioner, he doesn't do anything uncalculated. This was not something that we just did just so we can just say, oh, we did it one time and that's it, that's all. This was done so that it can continue to be done over and over and over again. Like Andy said, there were college coaches there literally looking at guys saying they have talent.
Yeah.
If in semi-pro, the age usually ranges from 18 to oldest guy may be 35, 36. So if you're a fresh young rookie coming into semi-pro who hasn't played college football, here's an opportunity to showcase your talent in front of coaches.
Right. And like I said, there's haters out there. There's people out there. I don't want to say other leagues, but other leagues, and none of the leagues that are affiliated with the PFA, none of those leagues. I'm just saying other leagues in general that are gonna have the hate and the bad feelings, the hurt feelings more or less. But it's a lock.
And that's
now.
okay.
It's a lock now.
But that's okay, Dylan. I have to. It's not that it's us being wrong. It's the truth and it was fact. This is the first time any league in the history of semi-pro football has merged with any type of referee organization clinic to help them get certifications for refereeing. Period. Point blank. I don't care what league you've been in since the existence of semi-pro football. Nobody has ever done it but the PFA. So, as far as I'm concerned, we got it on smack right now. I don't care if you and I respect to any league that works with us because we wouldn't be working with you if we didn't see that you do have the same ambition to move semi-pro into the beginning of a new dawn and a new era and a new culture. But if you ain't working with us, you on the other side of the fence. Keep it moving, buddy.
Yep. And the ones that are working with us, like Marcus Thompson said earlier, they put their egos aside and decided to work together. And there's a lot of other leagues out there that could do that, but they have power trips and they don't want to,
PFL.
Yeah, I have another couple. I have a couple other ones I can shout out, but I'm not going to. I'll be nice. So
they can come for me, man. I'm here for it.
So, but again, it's monumental. The PFA is locked in. No other league can come in and try to take it and say, "Oh, we can do it better." Because really, I don't see any other league doing it better than what PFA did. And shout out to Duncan. I'm telling you, he's the hardest working commissioner. I'm pretty sure he just doesn't sleep and he just works on PFA schedules and filling games. And I mean, if you got teams like, other teams coming to him to fill games, that tells you he's doing something right.
Yes, sir. I'm telling you, there has to be something said about the things and the moves that we're making and trying to make with other leagues to push the culture of semi-pro football. You know what I mean? That's why I said shout out to ISO Entertainment who streamed the game live there for the fans. It was a beautiful setup how they had this is the new dawn and age of what semi-pro football is going to be. Shout out to Scheme. Shout out to Tiggs Visuals. That's another one who does.
Tiggs is awesome. Tiggs is definitely awesome
for semi-pro. So this movement is happening, and it just reminds me of old school gangster film. Like you either gonna ride or get rolled over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like this movement is happening. This train is taking off. You either gonna come aboard it, we can either work together and build something that should have been built a long time ago, with people putting down their egos, their pride, and ducking smoke and worried about wins instead of worrying about the quality of football being played. Because at the end of the day, that's what really matters. We want quality football. You think people want to come and pay $10 to watch people sit here and argue, fight, cuss, yell at each other? You think they want to take time and bring their kids to see that? No, they want to actually see a product, see something polished, and that's what they saw this past Saturday. Shout out again to the organizations that were there, the Buccaneers and the Pitbulls. They showed class. They showed organization. When I say that, I mean the Buccaneers were out there. The game didn't start till 12. The Bucs was there practicing, warming up at 10 o'clock. Pitbulls was there as well. So they showed that this was not just something that people played with.
Right, and they took
this
it
is something
seriously.
that they actually took it seriously. So that's when the referee said they didn't know what to expect. Yeah, they were in awe by what they saw. And so that's the narrative that we want to keep pushing, and that's the product that the PFA wants to keep pushing. That's the product that every league should want to keep pushing. A positive image.
Yep.
Because that's the only way we're going to get. That's the only way we're ever going to get people to come to the games, people to actually want to give you TV rights, to want to actually sponsor this seriously. You have to be able to perfect the image, and what they saw Saturday, and what has happened since then, what has been locked in now, shows that the PFA and the teams that were part of that displayed that, and that's what we're trying to do. So again, you ride to get rolled over.
Right. And as an athlete, why would you want to be in a league that plays the same 5 teams? 10 games and you see the same teams twice. That's boring. Believe it or not, I played competitive paintball for almost 20 years, and some of the guys on the team that I was on didn't want to play at fields that were out of state or 5 states away, or they wanted to play in the woods. I'm like, no, that's boring. I want to go to a field and see teams from Canada, teams from all over the world come play. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you want to be in a league where you play the same teams every week? That's just my opinion.
I mean, if I want to test my metal, iron sharpens iron. I'd rather be in a league with monsters than be in a league with sheep.
Exactly.
I'd rather be in a league where my top 5, yeah, I probably went 7-4, but you can't beat nobody in my top 5 from any. You can't see. We fighting each other over here. But let somebody from the outside come in, y'all can't touch nobody. That's the kind of league I'm trying to be in. All that other, oh, I'm 13-0 and everybody else is 6-6 and all that. Man, that's fugazi, man. Put me where the head is at.
Right.
Put me where the competition is going to be at. That's what I'm trying to be.
Had I not wanted to play against top teams when I played paintball, I would have never been in paintball magazines. I would have never won awards, because I played teams and I shadowed teams that were good, and I learned a lot from them. That's what I did. I learned, how to be better. So, I mean, that's what it's all about. If you're serious about moving up and getting a shot at something bigger, why wouldn't you want better competition? But anyways, that's a topic we could talk about all night, man. So thank you to all of our guests, Bilal Hamadi from the Motor City Rams, kicker. Looking forward to seeing, like I said earlier, seeing his kicks and see how many times he could pin the offense in the corner of the field. Marcus Thompson, president at MCFL, joined us. And I apologize to Savage. I don't know if you're watching. I don't know what happened, but we'll get you on again, buddy. I promise you we'll get you back on, make up for the technical difficulties that we are having with you. We'll make sure we reach out to you. And also, Andy Hamilton, the man, the myth, the legend, official director of officials for the PFA. Thank you all for being on the show, and we appreciate your time. And what else you got, man?
Hey, man, just want to shout out everybody. Please make sure that you go to our YouTube page and please subscribe to the channel. We try to get our subscribers up on our YouTube as much as possible so we can start going live at our live streaming at our the events that we're going to be having coming up this season. As always, please share this live to your organizational's pages. Get our followers up. I hate to be that guy, but I got almost 200 friends. I should have more likes on my page.
I know we got how many teams in the PFA, and that they have how many players? Come on, guys.
Help you guys.
We're helping you guys out. Help us out a little bit, man. Come on. All you gotta do is you don't have to watch it. Just like it. Like it on YouTube so we can get the followers up. If you don't watch the whole show, I mean, I don't blame you. I don't know if I'd watch my whole show myself. So, I mean,
I watch me. No, but shout out to everybody in the chat right now, man. Shout out to Lefty Man, Coach Rondé, Coach Jimmy. Appreciate you guys joining into the chat. We always love, if you do tap into the show, please shout out in the chat so we can give you a shout out back. We love to communicate with the listeners and to everybody who's watching. But as always, man, stay tuned, stay down. It's a rundown, man. Catch us if you can.
We'll see you in a couple weeks.